Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Matt Fortson. I know that in my intro video, I said my next video that I was going to release would be BPD in a relationship. Well, I actually came across another item that I felt like that I wanted to put out sooner, and I'm taking a little bit more time to ensure the quality of that the BPD in a relationship video. Um, but I wanted to discuss reflective leadership. Before I get into this topic, I wanted to add a little bit more of my background for the viewers. So I didn't add in that I have 19 years military experience. I've dealt with all sorts of people from different backgrounds, which can be really tough depending on you know race, religion, where they grew up, ages, um, just thought processes. The other thing is that I earned an MBA in 2016, and I'm currently working on my PhD in organizational leadership. So, as I said in my intro video, people intrigue me, and one of the things that I want to do, and I'm very passionate about, is helping other people. I want to help people. I don't. It's not. I'm not doing these videos for money. I'm doing these videos to share my experience and hopefully help other people out. So let's jump into the topic of reflective leadership. Um, so as a leader, it's one of the key items is to be able to reflect upon yourself. And when I say that, uh, you need to be able to understand what your team is doing and why they're doing it. And a lot of times it's because of what you're what they see in you. So first thing is identify your organizational section, shop, family goals. So basically, taking it from a business aspect, you need to SWAT. And when I say SWAT, that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the reason why I say that is you need to know your strengths, you need to know your weaknesses, you need to know the opportunities, and you need to know what your threats are. So most people know what your strengths are, and most people know what your weaknesses are. But what are your opportunities? Your opportunities are what's going to advance your team, what's going to make your team better. What are you not doing now that you could be doing? What are the threats that are out there that could sink your team? I mean, you need to know these things. And the next thing you need to do is you need to SWAT your organizational section, shop, and family. And the reason why, I probably should explain. So, reason why I put, you know, the four pillars, I would say, is because you, if you are a dad or you're married, you have a family. It doesn't matter if you're a wife, if you're a husband, you are basically management to your kids. I mean, your kids, in a way, work for you, and you need to lead by example. And how your kids see you is how they're gonna act. You need to be able to reflect you need to reflect to them what you want to see, and that goes with in the workplace too. So let's go down. So I made some notes. So if you see me looking over, I'm looking at my computer screen. So I want to make sure that I'm covering everything because this is a very important item to me. So one of the questions is does your organizational section, shop, family reflect 100% what you want to see? And you need to diagnose that. And if they're not showing up to the way you want them to show up, well, maybe it's how you're showing up. And it probably is how you're showing up. And that's why you need to reflect upon yourself every day. Every day when you go home, you need to sit down and you need to reflect. You need to reflect upon your team. You need to see where they're showing up, and you need to reflect upon yourself to understand what you can do better, what you can improve on, how you can help your team succeed, how you can mentor them better. it's about your team. It's not about you when you're a leader. So I made so I made a few 11 different traits that, and leadership. There's many traits. I'm not saying these are the only ones that you should, be as a leader, but I think these are crucial, at least from my point of view. But before that, as a leader, it's key that you accept responsibility, accountability, and ownership for team failures. You're the leader. If you're gonna accept, team success, then you need to accept team failure. And if you're not, you might want to not be a leader. You might want to just turn in the keys and be a worker bee. Because leaders accept responsibility. Don't be a pansy. And I'm sorry, but I'm straightforward and blunt. Nobody wants to work for someone that is not willing to take responsibility for the team. If your team fails, you fail. And, frankly, people make or break you. So the more work and effort you put into your team, the more work and effort you're going to get out of your team. So let's go down this list of 11 traits that I think is really crucial. Number one, I put number one, and I don't think these are not in any particular order, but I would definitely say that if it was in order, communication is definitely number one. Communication is number one, period. Because communication is something that you have to work on a daily basis. Nobody is an expert on communication. I don't care who you are. You could be Tony Robbins. You're not perfect. You do not. You're just not gonna. You're not perfect at communication. I mean, if you communicate something, communication doesn't mean that you're just talking. Communication means that is the person that you are talking to receiving what it is that you're communicating to them in the way that did you intend that message to be received. If not, then that's something you need to work on. And that's something that I like to work on with my team daily. Is communication. And I love it whenever they say, you need to communicate better with us, and you need to make sure that you cancel meetings whenever we're not having meetings. I love that. Hey, you know what? I accept it because it's good. They're keeping me on my toes. Number two, work ethic. You have to have a high work ethic. When you show up to work, you show up ready to go. And you know what? Don't be scared to get down in the weeds with your team. Just because if you're in a management position doesn't mean that you can't go sweep the floor. The way I see it, anything that they can do, anything your team below you can do, you should be able to do. And don't be scared to go out there and do that. Your team will respect you a lot more if you take out the trash. I mean, just as an example, I'm not saying you have to go take the trash out every day, but just as an example, there's no job that's too low for you to do as a leader. And number three is integrity. You know what? You need to have high integrity. You need to set the bar high. And you know what? Whenever you mess up, have integrity and accountability and own up to it. People will respect you a lot more. And going back to work ethic, I want to go back real quick. So work ethic, even in your family, at home, when you're doing projects, it's not just about, bossing the kids around and making them do chores and stuff, even though I believe in making kids do chores, but I also believe in doing my part at home too. And that means that, if I ask my kids to do the dishes, well, I'm willing to help out, do the dishes too. I'm willing to go mop the floors. I'm willing to do something besides sit on my butt. So let's go down to integrity. So integrity, and that's reflected in your family also. Kids are gonna lie, that's normal, but kids are more willing to lie more often if you do not have integrity and you do not set that bar. If they see that there's no consequences for their actions, they're going to lie all the time. And then that goes with your workers. If they see that you're not owning up to your mistakes and you're blaming everybody else and you're not having integrity, well, that's what they're going to do too, more than likely. Number 5, vision. As a leader, you need to have a vision. You need to have don't just settle down for what's in front of your face. Look at the big picture. Be a big picture person. And once you gain that vision, communicate it to your people. Let them know what the vision is. They want to be able to contribute to the overall success of the organization. Your kids want to be able to know what the vision is. I mean, what's the vision at home? What goals do you have? What goals do you have for your family? Number 6, accountability. Well, I've already talked pretty much on accountability, but accountability, you need, as a leader, you definitely need to have accountability. Number 7, ownership. Take ownership for your team. Be there for them. Anything they need, you should be there as a leader. And don't just take ownership for the success, take ownership for the failures too. I don't really like the word failure because I don't fail. I have setbacks, but I don't fail. I mean, it sounds arrogant and cocky, but you know what? I'll show up, I'm ready to work, and I will succeed one way or another. Number 8, don't micromanage. That goes without saying, I think. Some people like to micromanage. Why micromanage? You're not building superstars by micromanaging. You're not building future leaders by micromanaging. I mean, if you have to micromanage, you might as well fire your whole team and do it all yourself. Instead, macromanage. Have the vision, let the people know what the vision is, and allow them to work. Allow them to make some decisions. Allow them to make some setbacks. But don't micromanage. Number 9, be the rock. Well, that goes without saying. If you are, if you're a husband or you have a family, or when there is being a leader in an organization, you need to be the rock. You need to reduce the stress. You need to calm the storm. A leader needs to be calm under pressure. Whenever things happen, like, I don't know, there's something that happens and the stress is high, you need to go in like, it's not that big of a deal. We're gonna get through this just fine. And you need to be the rock. Number 10, mentor. I'm big on mentoring. I mentor my guys every day. I love giving them feedback sessions. I love sitting down with them and letting them know where they are and how they can succeed. And I like for them to do the same thing with me. Tell me where I am as a leader. Tell me what I can do better. Because I'm not perfect. Everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. And if your ego is too small to take the feedback from employees beneath you, you might not want to be a leader. Number 11, reward and award. So I believe in always, I'm not the type of leader that will take success from my team because I believe it's a team effort and I would rather reward and award my people and let them be responsible for what happens. Because they're the ones that's mainly done all the work. And, yes, I've helped, lead and I might get in the weeds and help them with some things, but my goal is, and my reward and award is, whenever I see them developing, when I see them leading and doing things that without me telling them to do it and just succeeding. Um, that's my reward. I mean, my reward is building superstars. Every person that I lead is going to be a superstar one way or another. One day they will be a superstar, and I believe that, and nobody can ever tell me otherwise. I don't care what the person is. If they're under me long enough, and I'm doing my job, which I will be, is mentoring them, they will succeed. So going back, so I've said this many times, your job as a leader is to develop superstars. And that goes to your family, that goes with being in your organization. You have to build superstars. You should be building the next you, the person that's going to fill in your shoes. Your kids, when they get out in the real world, you should be building them and prepping them to succeed in life and become superstars. They should be better than what you are. And if you're not doing that, you might want to reflect a little bit more. So basically, one of the quotes that I really do like is, be the change you want to see. So if you see something that needs to be changed, it should be reflected from you. And people should know what the change is, because you are the change. Don't just talk. Talk is nothing if it's not congruent with your actions. And I'll say that in a lot of my videos. Actions equal facts. If your actions don't match your words don't mean anything. And another quote that I put down, sorry, I'm a big fan of quotes, but if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I believe that's Mr. Wayne Dyer said that. But you need to go in and look at things differently. For an example, adversity. Don't look at it as being negative. That's a life challenge. How are you going to get through that? How are you going to react to that? That will tell people a lot about you as a person. I mean, I'm going to go into just a tiny bit of my life. In 2016, my mom passed away on Valentine's Day. And then 5 days later, my dad passed away. Then I had some family problems with my siblings. They basically were being terrible people and just making it really difficult to close my dad's estate. I'm not going to go any more of that, but it was a difficult time. And then in May of 2016, I got a divorce. And then, a couple months later, my dog died. It was just a really bad year. But the bottom line is I didn't let that get me down, because I still had kids. I still needed to lead them. I still needed to be the example for them, and I still had to go to work every day and make sure my team was succeeding. And how did I get through that? There's a lot of ways I got through that, and I might go into that in another video. But the bottom line is it was completely my mindset. It was completely my mindset. My mindset was, I believe that, and if you're not religious, I'm sorry. I'm spiritual, and this is how I got through part of these issues. Was I believe that things happen for a reason, and I believe that the big man upstairs will not give you anything that you cannot get through. And just being able to know that got me through those circumstances a lot. And there's other ways that I got through it too, but that's one way, was my belief in God. So lastly, I'm trying to keep this video short. We're already at 19 minutes, but as a leader, you need to motivate. You need to motivate people. And how do you do that? Well, there's lots of ways to motivate people. First off, you need to know your people, and you need to know what motivates them. Some people get motivated by time off. Some people get motivated monetarily. Some people get motivated by you just giving them props at work. I mean, that's your job as a leader to understand what motivates your people. Another way is when you show up, how you show up. You know, do you show up with your head down, you know, depressed? Uh, you know, people don't want to, people are not going to follow somebody like that. When you show up, you need to show up with confidence and energy. You need to show up ready to go, you know. Let everything else outside, you know, be behind you. Get into a mental state. And it goes in a lot of preparation that I'm not going to get into in this video. I might get into in other videos. But, you know, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, you need to be right as a leader. And if you're not, it's going to be difficult every day going to work or coming home and being confident and having positive energy. You know, leave work, you know, there's a saying, you know, leave work at work and don't bring it home. Well, you know, same thing. Don't bring your family stuff to work either. And there's a fine balance whenever you're a leader to ensure that you're not doing that. And lastly, you know, I'm going to just say a couple other things. So take pride in your team. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter if they have setbacks. Take pride in that. Use that as a learning experience. You know, let those guys know that you care about them and they did not fail. It's a setback. You just learned something. And take pride in yourself. Your team will reflect you. That's the bottom line. So how your team is showing up is how you're showing up. Be accountable for that. Reflect upon yourself. Thank you for your time. If you like this video, please like it and please subscribe to my channel. If there's any feedback, please email me or leave comments. I'll be willing to respond as soon as possible. I appreciate your time and have a great day.